YouTube, what's going on? YCImaging here with installment 6 of my Q&A series, and I think this is going to be a very lengthy episode, so without further ado, let's dive into it. First question comes from B. Doley, and she asks, what's your tips on color grading? I need help with that. A few tips that I can give you for color grading is understanding colors and the feelings that they have. The main goal while you're color grading is to try to give off that exact same feeling that you're trying to give off with the video, meaning if you wanted like a cold or like a cool, heartless type of feel for the video, you might want to go with some cool tones. Or if you wanted more of a lovey scene for the video, you might want to do like more warmer tones. Or say you just wanted to leave that mysteriousness within it, maybe you drag out some of the saturation and stuff like that. Colors directly correspond to feelings, and I know it's weird, but it's actually pretty true. And another tip that I can give you for coloring is knowing how you want to color the video before you shoot it, so you shoot it that way. Meaning, like, say you want like a super bright like color for the video, and you want like some of the whites like diffused out and blown out and stuff like that. Maybe you shoot it a little bit overexposed to kind of achieve that that feeling and that look in post. So going into shooting the video and knowing how you want the color to be before you already color it helps a lot. Also, this upcoming Monday, I will be releasing a few LUT packages that I created myself. They're super dope. But that's Monday, and I'll get more in depth with that on tomorrow's video, so be on the lookout for that. Next question comes from Car Guy Cam, and he asks, do you ever get done with the shoot and you're not psyched on the footage? Not that it's bad shots, but maybe it's gonna be a B+ video. You know what's crazy, bro? I feel like this with all my shoots. Like, I could be shooting my best music video, and while I'm on set and I'm sitting there shooting it, I always feel like, man, I don't know if I'm killing it right now. And most of the time I actually do be, and it actually turns out to be a good shoot, but I always feel like that, man. But when I get home and I put it in the computer and start doing my post editing and coloring and stuff like that, it always turns out to be a dope video. So don't feel soloed out, man. I always feel like that, and I know my co-directors always feel that way as well. I never feel like I'm killing it, and they never feel like they're killing it either. It's kind of crazy. Next question comes from MGK Shihab. I just butchered your name, sorry. I can't pronounce it, man. But the question is, thoughts on the Sony a7S II? Are you planning on getting one, and do you recommend it? I think the a7S II looks really good on paper, and like all of the test footage I've seen from it looks amazing as well, but I haven't personally used it, so I can't really suggest it to you. But yeah, man, pick one up. I know the low light capabilities on it are amazing. I would love to have one myself. Am I planning on picking one up? Maybe. I might get that sometime soon in the near future, but right now I'm just cool. I'm good. I like my GH4. It does the job perfect for me. I would like to have vlog on it, but I'm good. I'm good right now. I would like to have an a7S II though, for sure. Definitely. I definitely think you should pick one up as well. Next question comes from SW Media Visuals, and they ask, when exposing with picture profiles, I'm gonna have to call you back, bro. When exposing with picture profiles such as Cinelike D or S-Log, do you ETTR? I'm not sure what that means. Overexposed? I'm just gonna tell you what I do. If so, by how many stops would you recommend? Cinelike D, I don't overexpose at all. I just get it to how it actually looks in person. I don't judge by the meter at all. I'll look at it with my visual eyes, the picture that I'm seeing, and I'll try to get it to as close as that on the camera. With S-Log 2 though, I do overexpose by 2 stops. I don't know, I'm not sure if that's what you're asking, but that's what I do when I'm filming with those 2 picture profiles. Next question comes from T Garner Films, and they ask, tips for using the Ronin M. I have a video on the channel about setting up the Ronin M as far as like the motor settings and getting the stiffness right. That'll help take out a little bit of those bounces. I mean, the Ronin's not a perfect, it's not perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna get you those silky smooth shots like the Steadicam with the fast setup or nothing like that. It has a very mechanical look to it, and you just gotta be prepared to deal with that. A tip that I can really give you with using it though is to walk as lightly as possible. If you stomp, you're gonna get these. It doesn't have an axis to fight those. So if you stomp, you're gonna get those bounces, man. Just walk as lightly as possible. And on those shots, when you can throw on some post stabilization on there as well, and that'll help you a lot. Stuff like warp stabilizer, I forget what it's called in Final Cut. I haven't used it so long, but they have post stabilizer as well, so check those out, man. They might help you. Next question comes from Zach Lang, and they say, hey man, how can I get rid of grain in my footage? I go to a shoot, looks great on camera, and when I get home, it looks like crap because of all the grain. What setting should I be on? Thanks, homie. I guess it all depends on what camera you're on, honestly, but I mean, I don't really think the settings matter that much. The only tips that I can really give you is to stay as low as possible with your ISO. That's gonna help you a lot with grain. And grain is gonna come, man. Grain is natural. Don't fight the grain, man. Accept it. The way that I personally tend to get rid of grain is when I'm doing my coloring in post, I just crush the blacks. Try to crush them, get them as dark as possible, and that'll get rid of a lot of the grain that you have in your footage. Next question comes from Kayser. I think I'm pronouncing that right. If not, man, comment down in the comments and let me know if I butchered your name. Let me know how to actually pronounce your name, and that way I'll get it right in the next Q&A. But anyways, they say, what's good, bro? I'm a big fan of your work and have been following your YouTube page. I really appreciate it, man. The tutorial you did in transitions was particularly helpful, and it's helped me elevate my editing game. You can see some of my latest videos I posted. I wanted to submit a question. I was wondering, what frame rate do you suggest shooting at for the smoothest slow motion footage? I'm currently using the Canon 70D, thanks. On the Canon 70D, by far the smoothest frame rate that you're gonna be able to shoot in is 60 frames per second. Always do 60 for your slow-mos. And when you get them in the post, whether you're on Premiere or Final Cut, just interpret them or conform them down to 24 and you'll have smooth slow-mo. Next question comes from Nickel and Dimes, and he asks, do you use a picture profile on your vlogs, and do you set your auto ISO to a minimum and maximum of 800? I need to know how you get your A6300 so crispy. Me personally, while I'm filming my vlogs, I use the S-Log2 picture profile, and the minimum ISO on that is 800. I just set my ISO to completely auto, and I shoot on shutter priority. That's why my exposure constantly changes while I'm filming my vlogs. Everything is completely on auto. I just let the camera do its thing, man, and I just grade it down in post. So I don't know if that's gonna help you. I'm sure you use manual, but me personally, I just use shutter priority and auto ISO. I don't know what the camera does in body. I just try to make it as easy as possible on myself while I'm vlogging. So I use auto, man. I don't know if that helped you, but use S-Log2. It's gonna sound weird, but I don't know anything about lighting. I just try to get the subject bright or put the light where I think it needs to go. Honestly, I don't know. I'm not a lighting professional at all. I don't know how I can personally school you, man. Just get some lights, set them up places, play around with lights, man. You'll eventually get it to where you want it to be. Look at other people's lighting setups. That'll help you a bunch. See how other people set up lights. Go check out behind the scenes videos from other people. Me personally, I'm not a professional. Like I said, I just put lights where I see that I think they look good, and I just start shooting, man. So you just gotta do the same thing, play around with lights. Next question comes from D Recky, and they ask, would you ever shoot in London? Absolutely, man. Give me some clients out there in London. I'll be out there. Book me. I'm out there. I'm shooting all the visuals. I'm trying all the food. I'm exploring all the places, man. Get me out to London. I would love to be out there. Next question comes from Zari's Imagery, and they ask, what is your best / sharpest recommended aperture point for a shot that doesn't need shallow depth of field on the Sigma 1835? I heard 3.5 through 4.5. And also, I noticed when I shot in slow-mo, my shots look a lot noisier for some reason, but when I see your slow-mo shots, they look really crisp. What could I be doing wrong? They look noisier than shots at normal speed. As far as the aperture, I mean, I feel like you can really just go off anything. Like, when you're exposing your shot, if it's perfectly exposed at a 3.5, then just use that. Or if it's perfectly exposed at a 4.0 or 4.5 or 6.0, whatever it is that you're perfectly exposed at, just use it. I wouldn't say it's a best aperture to shoot at, you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense. I feel like all apertures on that lens are pretty sharp, even down to like a 1.8. So just go with what you're using, you know what I'm saying? Just make sure you expose your shot properly. You should have sharp footage. As far as the slow motion shots, I mean, I feel like that's with every camera. Well, I mean, every camera I've personally used, anywhere from the Canon down to the Sony. Like the 1080 on this camera, I think looks so garbage compared to the 4K. And that's just the resolution, you know what I'm saying? You got 4K shots, you got 1080 shots. Of course, the 1080 shots are gonna look worse than the 4K shots. It's a better resolution, so I mean, you just gotta deal with it, bro. At the end of the day, the slow-mo shots are not gonna be as crispy as the 4K shots, and that's just the given. That's just the quality switch. You got 1080, you got 4K. 1080 is just not gonna be as crispy. Next question comes from 3:48 a.m. and he asks, best tips for panning shots with the Ronin. Seems like it snaps back a lot. The Ronin is very mechanical, as I said in a few questions back. It's not perfect. You're gonna get those jolts if you turn quick. Just my suggestion is just to turn your pan speed down as low as possible. That way you can jerk the Ronin all the way over and it still have it go slow, if that makes sense. If you have it sped up with you, like if you have the speed up, the resistance up, and you go like this, it's gonna jerk with however fast you do it. So if you turn your speed all the way down, which is what I do, I have mine like pretty much as low as possible. If you turn it like that, you can jerk it all the way that way, and it'll smoothly pan around to that side. So maybe you just gotta deal with your motor settings and your adjustments and stuff like that. But like I said, the Ronin is not a perfect stabilizer by any means. It's very mechanical. You get those jolts in it. You just gotta be prepared to deal with it or use some sort of post-stabilization. He also asked, what would be a good 4K camera to buy? Looking at the GH4, the Sony a6300, the a6300 seems like the better camera, but the overheating seems like it will become a problem. Thanks, and I love your videos, by the way. Personally, my experiences using the a6300, it has never overheated on me. I've never even gotten close to it overheating. I don't know how you overheat this. I mean, I would assume if you're doing like interviews and stuff like that, it will overheat on you, but it's never overheated on me. And the endless debate about the a6300 versus the GH4. Would I trade my GH4 for a6300? No, it's too light. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. That's just my personal preference. I wouldn't say either camera is better than each other. What I will say though is the 1080p on the GH4 tends to be a lot sharper than the 1080 on this camera. 4K against 4K though, this might beat it out. So I mean, I don't know, you just gotta weigh the options, man. I wouldn't say they're better than each other. One is better than the other. It's just about what you prefer. I prefer a heavier camera when I'm shooting music videos. It's easier to keep steady. Even on the Ronin, like when I use this on the Ronin, I get a lot of bounce and it's just too light for me, man. I wouldn't trade this for my GH4 personally, but it is a great camera. Next question comes from NLPX_971 and they ask 2 questions. Question 1 is, do you have a case for your Ronin? If not, are you planning on getting one? Question 2 is, are you planning on getting any new equipment as far as lenses, etc.? I personally don't have a case for my Ronin because I'm cheap and I don't like paying for stuff. That's the only reason why I haven't got a case for my Ronin. I need to get one, absolutely. I'll be like transferring it around in my car and the baby seat and stuff like that, just being cheap, but I definitely need to get one. I don't have one. I'm planning on getting some new equipment. The only new equipment that I plan on getting right now is lighting. I need LED panels, something, I don't know, I need something. I don't have lights. It's very easy for me to light stuff with cheap stuff, but I don't know, man, I'm just tired of it. I just want to get some nice professional lights that I can, you know what I'm saying, use without power and with power. So I don't know, I'm looking into lighting right now. That's about it though. No new lenses, no new cameras, anything like that. I'm good right now. I'm straight. I'm not looking into that. I need lighting. Next question comes from stay_wavy and they ask, what's a good photography camera to start off with? Something worth buying, high quality that I could also use professionally later on. So in other words, user-friendly cameras. The Rebel series is by far the best, easiest, user-friendly camera that you can get. Anything from the T2i all the way up to the, I don't even know what they're at right now, but the Canon Rebel series is by far the easiest user-friendly DSLR camera setup that you can use. And you can also use it professionally, I believe. I believe so, I would. I mean, I think it's all in the lenses at the end of the day. But if you're looking for a user-friendly camera to start out on, just look into the Rebel series by Canon. Next question comes from acookie315 and they ask, any tips you would give producers for making video-ready tracks? The only tip that I can give you is to keep doing what you're doing. There's always going to be a part in a film or video or something that is looking for the feel of music that you're making. So if you make turned up tracks, man, it might be a part in the movie that needs some turned up tracks and they'll pick it, or maybe it's a short film and they're at a party and they need some background music. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what type of music you're making, it's always a feeling that is needed in a video somewhere. So keep doing what you're doing. Someone will eventually check out your work, or if you're dishing it out to people, just dish out what you're doing. Don't go make new stuff. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's always a feeling that needs that music. So just keep doing what you're doing. That's the only tip that I can give you. Next question comes from dgfxnewyork.com, and he asks a few questions, 2 questions. He asks, how do you go about choosing what video concepts you want to do? And then he also goes to ask, how do you determine prices for videos? Me personally, I go through and I'm weird, yo. Like if I don't like the vibe that the person's giving off to me, I probably won't take the video on. Like, I need good vibes while I'm working, man. Like, some people just rub you the wrong way while they're inquiring, and that's me personally. Like, if I don't like your vibe, yo, I might not even take on your project. Like, we gotta click, man. We gotta be cool, you know what I'm saying? I don't like going out to work with people and I don't like their vibe. I don't like the way they act, or you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. So that's the type of stuff that I look into, man. I mean, I feel like mostly all videos concepts can be cool and somewhat. If it's a cliche concept, like say they wanna rob somebody or do a drug deal or transaction, like I'm so against that. Like anything cliche, man, where they want to pass off bags and do all this stupid dope stuff, like more than likely I won't do that. Like that's just something I'm against, man. I like, unless I can put my creative spin on it and make it cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm typically against cliche things. So I don't know, man. I guess that's on you. You have to gauge what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You can't really go off what I do. If I don't like the vibe of a person or I don't like the concept, I just probably won't even take on the project. So that's just me. I mean, I guess you really got to gauge what you like and what you want to do with your videos. And how I determine video prices is I have like a set price that I won't go under for videos, and then that's on the low end, and then it'll go up depending on the equipment needed for the shoot, as well as the concept, maybe the location that I'm going to be in, the days I'm shooting. You know, stuff like that. So I account for how many days I'm going to be shooting, where I'm going to be shooting, how long it's going to take to achieve what I'm doing, and the complexity of the overall shoot and stuff like that will increase the pricing. But yeah, just find a price point that you won't go under, that like the minimum, like you're not coming out the crib for that much, and you build on that, you go above that for video concepts and video pricing. Next question comes from Slick Fox Photos, and they ask, how do I get the music video effect? Is it just through color grading? I'm shooting my first video next week and I'm freaking out. Bro, you just gotta chill, bro. Just let it flow. The music video effect, man. Let's talk about that. I mean, what is the music video effect? I mean, I guess you mean like cinematic look. I mean, I guess that all kind of ties in with video movement, depth of field, what else? Color. All that really ties into the music video effect look, I guess. I don't know. There's so many different music videos, man. I can't really say. I don't know what you're talking about, but just make sure that the movement of the camera is correspondent to the actual track that you're shooting. If the track is super turned up and people are jumping around and being hyped, either move really fast with the stabilizer you're using, or if you're handheld or you got the shoulder rig, just make sure you know what I'm saying, you make it rocky. Don't have the camera on the tripod if people are turned up, you know what I'm saying? And if it's a singing record, just be real smooth with the stabilizer. Come in and out. If you got a slider, go in and out. Or if you got a shoulder rig, just be real smooth with it. Just reflect the feeling of the record in your camera movements, man. And also do the same thing with the color. So if it's a turned up record and it's ice cold and they're talking about shooting people, man, you might want to add a cool effect to it to take the saturation out. Or if it's a super happy lovey-dovey love song, you might want to boost the saturation up and have the colors pop at people, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Just pay attention to that type of stuff and you should be good, man, on your first music video. Bro, you're so lucky. I literally just went into my Instagram DMs and hit refresh and you popped up. So you're gonna be the last and final question for this Q&A. The last and final question comes from Bees448, and he asks, what's your favorite slow motion setting on the GH4? Me personally, my favorite frame rate to shoot slow motion on the GH4 is 72 by far. It's perfect. It's the perfect amount of slowness. I won't go over it. I feel like 96 also takes the quality away from your footage so much. Like, I love 96 frames per second, but I feel like 72 is like the perfect balance as far as quality and slowness. Like, it's to the point where I think 60 frames per second even looks kind of weird to me now. So I always have my GH4 set on 72 frames per second. Like I said, that's gonna be my last and final question for my Q&A. If you watch this all the way to the end, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to win a free LUT bundle from me. Like I said, my LUTs are releasing on Monday. I'll give you more information and details in tomorrow's video on that, as far as specifics, pricing, the amount of LUTs, the amount of packs, all that type of stuff like that is going to be in tomorrow's video, so make sure y'all check that out. But if you watch this video all the way to the end, drop a like on it and also comment below with your Instagram @ I'm gonna randomly go through and pick someone to send a free LUT bundle to on Monday. So make sure y'all do that, man, and enter to win a free LUT bundle from me. Colors are dope. Optimized for pretty much all picture profiles, S-Log, Cinelite D, Cinestyle, all that type of stuff like that. So like I said, like it, drop your Instagram @ below. I'm gonna go through and pick a random winner, and I'm gonna DM you on Instagram and let you know you won and send those LUTs over to you on Monday. But if you like the video, make sure to like it, comment, also subscribe, and I'm gonna check you out in my next video tomorrow. Peace.